So the second question, tell us a little bit about your creative influences and inspirations. For ceramics, it definitely started in grad school when I was getting a lot of questions of why clay, which I felt, I'm sure I started grad school in 2016, so maybe that is less of a relevant question today now that ceramics is so prevalent. But it really, I wanted to have a very, just a clear understanding of the history of ceramics, of which there are many. I think I'm going to work while I talk. But particularly, I was fascinated by the 18th century in Europe when Europe was just trying to mimic the porcelain recipe of Asia. They were obsessed with how smooth the kaolin made the porcelain that Asia was able to create, and Europe was just had this fetish in trying to mimic it. And that is something that I find really interesting today, is just what creates desire and obsession and how that is shaped and cultivated. I find that really fascinating, particularly thinking about contemporary advertising and media and how that can just drive desire, and something I'm very susceptible to, and probably why I am fascinated by it. And also interested in the 18th century porcelain aesthetic. Rococo is this very decorative art form during that time that came out of Europe trying to mimic Asia's porcelain techniques. And then also making a parallel with the contemporary fetish with the female body, and the ways that women's bodies are used in marketing. I just find that really like an interesting parallel to draw. What else? Inspirations and influences. I think for painting, I've spent so many years learning and researching ceramics that I will say that my wheelhouse, as far as an art history background, is stronger in that. But for painting, to me, I think it's a really fascinating medium because you can really create your own world, and that's something that I've been trying to cultivate in my newer paintings, is really painting this alternative world, fantasy, utopia, dystopia, that I hope that I and also my viewers can kind of feel like they can escape into, and that my sculptures, could imagine them existing in. So for my creative process, for ceramics and painting too, there are so many different ways to use the materials. I really like to create an amalgamation of processes within one piece. So a lot of my forms will start with a thrown element, and then I will sculpt onto them. Here's a work that's currently just drying, but there's so many different ways to work with clay. I really love to use a lot of lace. You get these really interesting textures. Who do I consider to be an icon of our time? The icon that I'm really glad is an icon of our time is Oprah Winfrey. She's the one that inspired me to start a gratitude journal, which has been so great, especially when I'm having a really tough week or something like that, to focus on gratitude. The icons I don't love that are icons of our time are the Kardashians, although I definitely watch plenty of their reality TV show, or have. Who else? Britney Spears. I also want to share that I have a couple of shows coming up, one on view right now, but the one I'm particularly excited about is my first solo show in Manhattan in New York at Dinner Gallery. It is going to open on March 10th from 6 to 8 p.m. until April 23rd, and it's going to be the first time that I'm going to exhibit large oil paintings combined with ceramics and some other materials alongside my ceramic sculptures, and it feels very exciting. So if you are local, please come check it out. But it'll also be on view until April 23rd.